Room 1046. The Nameless Murder. It was a freezing night in January 1935 when a young man arrived at the luxurious Hotel President in Kansas City, Missouri. His appearance was impeccable. A well-fitted dark suit, neatly combed hair, and a stern, almost impenetrable expression. He checked in under the name Roland T. Owen, requested a room on the upper floors, and showed no identification. He carried only a small suitcase, no extra luggage, no personal belongings. The receptionist glanced at him suspiciously. There was something unsettling about his demeanor. He wasn't a typical traveler. His voice was monotonous, devoid of emotion. And when the bellboy escorted him to room 1046, he noticed something even stranger. As he opened the door and turned on the light, Roland immediately switched it off. "Don't leave it on," he murmured in a dry tone. The bellboy, slightly puzzled, obeyed and placed the key on the table. Before leaving, he noticed that the room contained nothing but a comb and a toothbrush. No suitcases, no clothes, not even a change of attire. Why would anyone travel with so little? Roland shut the door behind him. At that moment, the most enigmatic story of the Hotel President began. Shadows in the dark. Over the following days, hotel staff noticed that Roland rarely left his room. When he did, he seemed nervous, as if he were looking for someone or afraid of being followed. Mary Soptic, the maid, visited the room several times to clean. She always found the lights off and Roland sitting in the darkness, staring into nothingness. One time, while making the bed, she saw a crumpled piece of paper on the nightstand. A handwritten message read, "Don't be mad, I'll be back soon." The note unsettled her. Who was it meant for? As she was about to leave, Roland stopped her. "Please, don't lock the door. Someone will be coming soon." Mary simply nodded, but as she stepped out of the room, a chill ran down her spine. Something wasn't right about that man. That afternoon, a receptionist witnessed something chilling. Roland wasn't alone. From the lobby, she caught a glimpse of a tall, broad-shouldered man entering room 1046. His face was hidden beneath the brim of a hat, and he wore a heavy coat. Odd, considering the hotel was warm inside. The door slowly closed behind them. From that moment on, no one knew what happened inside the room. The night of horror on January 3rd, around midnight, hotel staff began receiving complaints from nearby guests. They reported strange noises, dull thuds, whispers, and a sound like furniture being dragged. At 4 a.m., the hotel operator noticed that the phone in room 1046 was off the hook. A bellboy went up to check and knocked on the door. From inside, a weak voice responded, "Come in." But the door was locked. From the inside, he knocked again, but this time there was no answer. Something was wrong. Using a master key, he unlocked the door, and what he saw made his blood run cold. Roland was on his knees on the floor, slumped over the bed, head bowed. His body was covered in blood. The bellboy took a step back, horrified, but then Roland slowly lifted his head. His face was unrecognizable, swollen, bruised beyond recognition. He had been brutally beaten, stabbed 3 times in the chest, and had a cord tightly wrapped around his neck. The scene was terrifying, but the most chilling part was what he whispered with his last breath. "No one did this to me." And then he collapsed. A mystery with no answers. Authorities arrived immediately and searched the room. There were no signs of forced entry. The locks were intact, but there was no weapon, no knife, no object that could explain his wounds. It was as if the attacker had vanished into thin air. As police investigated, the mystery only deepened. The name Roland T. Owen was fake. There were no records of him anywhere. No one claimed his body. It was as if he had never existed. The staff swore they saw another man enter the room. Who was he? And why were there no traces of him? But the most disturbing event happened weeks later. A local flower shop received an anonymous order. A stranger requested that white roses be sent for Roland's burial. Along with the flowers, there was a note that read, "Eternal love, Louise." Who was Louise? Was she the person Roland had been waiting for that night? No one ever found out. Theories that haunt the case. Over the years, many theories have surfaced, some logical, others terrifying. A revenge killing? Some believe Roland was part of a criminal network and his death was a punishment. A spy caught in a deadly game? His behavior and lack of real identity led some to believe he was an undercover agent caught in a dangerous mission. Something supernatural? What if what happened in room 1046 wasn't the work of a human? The only certainty is that the case was never solved. The hotel president still stands today, and some employees claim that on silent nights, whispers can still be heard in room 1046, as if Roland is still there. What do you think? If you're fascinated by unsolved mysteries, subscribe to Whispers of Crime and Mystery. Turn on notifications and leave us your theory in the comments. What really happened in room 1046?